What is going on YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just VSN podcast. And today we have episode 92. And with me, I have, as always, my boy Andrew. And today we have some things to discuss. More so, in my words, a little bit of some ranting.
Yeah.
Before we got on today, I've been infuriated with the state of the Guardians and the way that things are going, and the vibe that I'm getting around the team, the players, and the front office, especially, which we will get to here in a minute. But obviously, we just dropped a goose egg, two hits, no runs, 6-0. Jose went out, he's fine, but he got hit by a pitch because Bybee hit Vlad, who apparently might be hurt more than Ramirez. And so they retaliated, and Canada sucks. So, yeah, we have this also to deal with. But, you still don't have movement going on when it comes to guys like CDL and KFIS. You're not bringing up your prospects yet. But yet you bring up a guy today that gave up 2 runs of relief. So again, the front office just continues to make bad choices, and I will rant about them soon. But before I get into all of my crap, Andrew, obviously you were at the game today, so you know how bad it was. But other than that, how are we doing this week?
I mean, we're doing better. I mean, the weather's actually nice now, but now it's getting too hot. Now it's getting too hot. But I tell you what, things are going a lot better. And yeah, I was at the game earlier, and I saw everything go down. And it started from the whole Vladdy situation started yesterday, where it was Gavin who on a again on a 2-2 pitch, mind you. With like another out or 2 outs, whatever, accidentally hit Vladimir Guerrero. Okay, like it's like Vladdy's probably like, okay, yeah, that was accidental. I don't on a 2-2 count. Why the fuck would he hit me?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make sense. And then for some reason he got. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like he had every reason to be mad today because you get hit in the same spot. It's gonna hurt like hell. Right. So I understand the frustration for Vladdy because it's like, again, really? Like, but I think in his head, he knows it wasn't intentional because, again, it's 1 out, 2-2 count. Why would anyone try to intentionally hit somebody on a 2-2 count with an out? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to intentionally try to hit you. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it on the first pitch.
Yeah, like they did to us.
Yeah. And then, of course, like you said, not too long later, Gausman comes up and Jose's up to bat. And I already had a feeling once Jose walked up to the bat, I was like, for some reason, why do I feel like they're just going to like drill him? And next thing you know, Gausman goes up, nails him on the first pitch. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. And of course, I saw him lead the game after that. And I'm like, of course. Right? We're going to lose this game. I already knew we were going to lose this game after he got hit. But it was just one of those things where it's like, why can't people just be professional? It was accidental both times, yesterday and today. The hits were accidental. If they were on purpose, both of them would have been with 0 outs and a 0-0 count. Yeah. They would have not happened on 2-2 counts with an out or multiple outs. So I don't know what the Blue Jays were thinking. We're not trying to intentionally hurt Vladimir Guerrero, but that doesn't give you the right to just plunk Jose Ramirez and almost injure him, which luckily his stuff came back negative. So he's fine. He should be in the roster tomorrow, unless they might just give him a day off tomorrow just to kind of rest and recover for a day.
Yeah.
So, but it's so stupid that there's some coaches and whatnot in baseball are like, yeah, they did this on purpose, both on 2-2 counts. How dare you? Like, go out there and plunk their best guy. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I'm not one for retaliation. But if I was Bybee going back out of that inning after Jose got hit, I've already gotten crushed today. My day was bad to begin with. Why not just leave it off and just go plunk out their next best player? Go out there to like Bo Bichette or George Springer and just plunk him too.
Right.
And just be like, you guys started this, so we're gonna finish this. Unless you want Jose to come back out and hit Gosman like he did Tim Anderson. If that's what you want, then hey, we'll bring Jose back out the dugout. Him and Gosman can go at it. So I don't know. It was stupid on the Blue Jays part. Plus, you're winning the game at that point. I think it was 3-0 already at that point. You're winning the ball game. Like, why?
Right.
Who cares, dude? You're up 3-0. Like, win with some pride. Like, why do you have to be so stupid?
Well, that's a question that we'll never get an answer to. To be honest with you, but yeah, it's very wild that this stuff is still in the game.
I know.
It's one thing to retaliate when somebody initially has like a weird beef with somebody.
Yeah.
Because, that's sort of like a written rule in baseball. It is. But when it's unintentional, like it wasn't Bieber's intention to hit Vlad. It definitely wasn't his intention to hit him in the, instead of the forearm. And it was on a 2-2 count or 3-2 count, whatever it was. And it's like, dude, if you were really going to hit him, you were going to hit him in the first pitch or two. Like you weren't going to waste an entire 6 or 7 pitches before getting to him. It makes no sense. And
yeah,
it's just a trash organization, stupid move. And I hope, it sounds like Ramirez is fine. I hope he plays tomorrow, and I hope he cranks a homer off him, just out of spite, because that is just some BS. And that's again, Canada sucks. I would want to hit guys that get to live in America too, because they don't have to pay 56% more in housing than you idiots do, and you got to put maple syrup on everything. Dude, I'm done with it. I'm so done with Canada's BS, man.
Dude, don't disrespect the maple syrup, dude. I need it for my waffles in the morning. Come on, man. Stop with the beef.
God. Dude, you know what ticks me off about like Canadians is when they talk about their problems, they say we, like as in like including us Americans into their problems. I'm like, no, there is no we. Just because you were touching America, you were a part of the continent, doesn't mean that you were a part of the country. All right, we don't claim y'all. The only thing that's fun about Canadians is their accents and their hockey. That's it. That is it, bro. Everything else is mid as fuck.
I will say Toronto does look kind of nice though. I've been to Toronto. It's kind of a nice place. Montreal is, if you like historical stuff and you want to hear a little bit of French, go to Montreal. Montreal is actually kind of tight too.
Right. That's fine. And one of my favorite shows is Letterkenny, which is
Shoresy too.
Yeah, it is Canadian based. So again, I love Canadian humor, but y'all are annoying. Y'all are annoying AF, and I'm tired of it.
I think a lot of it is that their teams are obviously in American sports like NBA, MLB, and it's like they're trying so hard to be like cool, like one of the cool kids. And it's like, number one, LeBron owns you, and your basketball team will never be good. And number two, well, except for the one time you had Kawhi Leonard who hit a magical jump shot at the end of a buzzard. Number two, what was your last time your baseball team was actually really good, like the mid 90s, early 90s or something like that?
Honestly, the last time they were, we beat them to go to the World Series.
Yeah, and the last time they were actually like good, we beat them to go to the World Series. So I mean, the only thing Canada has on us is hockey, and even then, the Florida Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So America won again for 2 years in a row.
It's just an annoying thing that now we have to deal with, but it's more of like just a constant rolling of just bullshit that this Cleveland team is dealing with. And this is sort of the beginning of my ranting because I'm tired of this team. I almost don't even have the energy to really get mad at them. But after today, I'm like, I'm so annoyed because we just heard from from Antonetti yesterday before the game regarding DeLauder and just some of these prospects. And then you hear Andre Knott on ESPN Cleveland, who is sort of backpedaling after he, at the beginning of the season, before the season even started, was really high on guys like Burrito and Manzardo and CDL and, all these guys. And now it's, oh, well, you never know if they're going to, work in the in the majors, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you won't freaking know if you don't try, especially your top talent. CDL before Bazana was our top guy. Like, that was the guy everybody wanted to see. And he's only 23, 24 years old. CDL is still very much in his prime or coming into his prime. He has plenty of time to get in the flow of things. He has time to work, and he's killing it in AAA. How can you not want to bring him up? Not to mention Kafis, who's like the 94th best prospect in baseball right now. He hit back-to-back grand slams the last two games before today, and he's been on fire. He's been batting over 340 for ever since he's gotten up there in AAA. It's wild. It's wild that we are just consistently keeping this team mediocre as fuck, and it's because of Antonetti and his lack of ability to understand, sort of reading the room, I guess, if you want to say, of, hey, things need to change. Things need to start really changing because this team is fluttering out badly. They have no dope whatsoever. The Guardians have no dope. They win 1 or 2 games and then they lose 4 or 5 straight. That's where we're at. And yet, despite that, we are still like a game, or after tonight, maybe a half game back in the wild card. So it's not like they're completely out of it, but with the way they're playing, you wouldn't have thought they would even be remotely close to it because they've been so bad. And I just kind of want to hear your take on some of the frustrations that you have surrounding this team, because at the top of my list, and I've been saying this, is Antonetti is a god awful GM. He is an awful manager in the front office. I'm not talking about Vogt. I think Vogt has his issues, but I think he's been given a very average team and said, go make do with what you got because this is what we can do. And it's you're failing your good players like Ramirez and Santana, who has been here on and off forever. Kwan, who you're still trying to fight to even extend. You can't even come to terms with him on an extension. You just signed Bieber or Bibby, and he's mid as hell. You have Clase going down the drain now. There is nothing really going good this year besides Jose, and he's 36? You don't have long with them. So why are we wasting all this time not bringing up these guys and continuing to play these guys that you have this weird trust in, and yet they continue to show you why you shouldn't have trust with them to even begin with?
Yeah, so firstly, Jose's only 31, 32 right now.
Surprising. I thought he was way older.
Yeah, no. He's only 31, 32. I think he just turned 32 like a month ago or so. So he's still technically in his prime years, actually. So thank God for that.
But
he's running out of time.
He probably has 4 or 5 years max.
Yeah, he's running out of time. He chose to have a no trade clause to stay here for the rest of his career, and you have to help him. And I agree. I don't think the problem is the coaching staff right now. I think the coaching staff you have is fine. and I think the addition of Corey Kluber to the pitching staff is a good hire because that's a Cy Young Award winner who's going to, especially during the offseason now, is going to help guys like Bibee, Ortiz, Gavin to become all-star. Well, Bibee's already an all-star pitcher, but like, elite level Cy Young pitchers essentially, or trying to be. He's already taught a couple of guys different pitches on like movement, and pitches already look good. I mean, for the month of June, the Guardians starting rotation actually is finishing in like top 3, top 5 in ERA for the month of June. So the pitching has definitely picked it back up for sure. And guys like Slade Ciccone has helped. Guys like Luis Ortiz actually getting his stuff together. Yeah. He's been looking really good too lately. So the only one who's actually looked bad were the two main guys, which is Gavin and Bobby. There are actually two guys who are looking bad.
I think Gavin has looked better than Bibee.
Yeah.
I think Bibee, he is guaranteed after like a certain pitch count
I think
or inning, he will give up a home run too.
Here's my thing. I think, and this happens, I'm sure, and this happens to a lot of players. I think it's because he signed such a good deal. Like he signed a bigger deal now and he signed a longer extension and whatnot. I think that's gotten into his head a little bit. And maybe it's causing him to perform poorly. So where guys
I'm tired of making that excuse. I'm so sick of that being an excuse.
And don't get me wrong, I am too. Like your job is to, that's why you're getting paid, is to go out there and pitch and be the good pitcher that you are. That's your job. I'm not paying you to be emotional and stuff like that. I'm paying you to pitch. And listen, it seems like the guys are picking up the slack except for Bibee, which, don't get me wrong, I'm sure Bibee will, by the All-Star break, will probably get something down. He'll probably work with Corey Kluber during the All-Star weekend and whatnot and kind of fix some things. But I think the main problem, like you said, is the front office, including Chris Antonetti, as like the major problem. This front office has been the front office for basically the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
Besides Shapiro, who is now the GM of the Toronto Blue Jays, funny enough. Yeah. But the problem is that they're still stuck in the same ways that they've been running the organization for the last 2 decades, which is one guy becomes massive talent, you trade massive talent, get solid players back, get attached to solid players, sell decent prospects to other teams, get mid back, and somehow, some way, scrabble your way into the wild card each and every year. Or since, we're in the AL Central being one of the weaker divisions in baseball history, easy enough to win the division and make the playoffs every year because we made the postseason like 14 out of the last like 18 years or something. Yeah. Or not like 14 out of the last 18. We've won like the division or whatever, the 14. So it's like, but that's due to being in the weaker division where we're used to seeing teams like Detroit suck, Kansas City suck, Chicago being god-awful, Detroit either being really good or really mediocre. And then there's us, who is either really good, or just slightly above average, which we're like right at that above average mark, or slightly above average mark. And it's because Antonetti and the Dolans keep running things the same exact way. Like, once we get someone good here, goodbye, see you later. And then it's like, okay, what'd you get in return? I got a Beyblade from Target. It's like, oh, cool. So we got nothing for it. Like, yay.
Or they, they trade for this, these prospects
that are really fucking good, like Manzardo.
And they don't really get to use them. Or, they get a chance to use them and they do pan out, but then you lose them in 5 years because you can't
afford them.
You can't afford to retain your talent ever. And that, like, we got lucky with Jose. Yeah. And another thing that we got lucky with for as many years as we did was Tito. I mean, we give Tito a little bit of crap for the way that he sort of went out, and he was flawed and he was so loyal to certain guys like the Brian Shaws, that he would have them, go down in the ship with him. And that was his issue because we all wanted guys like Naylor up here at the time. Uh, we wanted the Schneemans, we wanted the, Manzardos, and we thought that bringing up a guy like Vogt was going to help, really help these guys come in. And yet the front office comes back. They get a guy like Zantana. They bring in Nolan Jones again, which made no sense at the time, and really still doesn't because he hasn't really found his true niche. He hasn't been able to start, 5 or 6 games, a day. Lane Thomas has been a 1-year fucking rental, and he's been garbage. It's time after time. This front office is so predictable. They find guys that are on their very last leg. They try to squeeze a little bit out of them that they can. Basically playing Moneyball. Really, truly playing Moneyball. And it's never going to get you to the promised land. It's going to get you close, but it's not going to get you anywhere where you can really compete. And I think because of that, it's the reason why there's a lot of people that make this statement, and you can agree with this or not, but this is never going to be a baseball town anymore. It was in the 90s. It is never going to be a baseball town. It's always going to be football and basketball before at the Guardians. And as long as they continue to be this way, because you saw what happens when you play well and you give the fans something to show up for. We show up.
Yeah.
Last year we were selling out and having a really fun time in the playoffs. But when you play like this, it's like, here we go. It's the same Guardians. And it's the same team that we continuously see every year squeak into a wild card game. And then they get there, they sell out that crowd, and then they lose.
Well, and the worst part is now, like today, even though it was a 110 start on a weekday, it was a really good turnout. Like the entire lower deck was sold out. The only places where like nobody was going was the 2 standing room sections in the lower deck, because obviously that's where the sun was facing. And no one was in the bleachers because again, the bleachers was all the sun. But everyone was in the lower section. It was sold out down there. And then the upper deck was full because obviously people were trying to run from the shade or the sun and hiding in the shade like myself. But you had, like, the stadium holds 38,000 people. I would say you probably had about 30,000 there.
Yeah.
And for what? Just to watch the team lose 6-0 because you're too incompetent and you're too scared to bring up guys like Chase DeLauder and CJ Kafis?
Yeah.
Like, the fans are still showing out. The problem is we're not getting the product in return. And the thing is like, oh, we don't have money to spend or whatever. We need people to come to games.
Right.
Well, give us a reason to come. Bring up Chase DeLauder. Could you imagine if Chase DeLauder is here tomorrow? You're going to have a sold out stadium.
Yeah.
Because people are going to want to see him. Like, we're not going to want to see Jonathan Rodriguez start in right field. That's how you get fans out of the stadium.
Yeah, we don't want Lane Thomas either. We don't want Nolan Jones. Like, we do, but we don't. Like, that's not what's going to sell the seats. What sells the seats right now is Jose. That's it, man.
Jose and Juan.
Those are the only players that this team cares about, or that these fans care about. And you're not even sure if Kwan's going to make it past the season. You don't, because he talks a lot like he wants to go back to the West Coast, which I don't blame him. But dude, if the guards can't figure it out, he's going to want out. He's going to be like, why would I want to be away from my family when I don't have to and I can make way more money?
Yeah.
Like, it does make sense, but this is the issue with the Guardians. And unfortunately, under this ownership and under this management, they're going to be mediocre AF, and there's nothing that we can really say or do about it that's going to change anything. And it sucks. We can sit here and rant and complain. It doesn't matter. Like, these guys don't care. And it blows, because after a year like you had last year, you would think that this team would actually kind of sell out a little bit, sort of buy in, like the Cavs did. When the Cavs finally got something going, they said, all right, we have a core. Now let's go make a splash. Boom, Donovan Mitchell. And then it's like, okay, now you got that guy.
Yeah.
Now you got to build around that guy.
And they're still trying to make a splash.
Yeah. And now you got Mobley, who's becoming that next guy. He's going to be the guy that sort of moves into that limelight. Mm-hmm. And then you got to deal now with, the role players, which is almost just as hard as getting the superstar to even begin with. But baseball is a much different sport. And I'm the first one to understand that, but it's baffling how perfectly okay this front office is at being mediocre, because it's been the MO for 20 years since I've been a fan. Really, it's been the MO. Like, we were alive during the 90s teams, but I mean, we were too young to really understand it and be a part of that. We didn't get to enjoy the 95 team and the 97 and the 99 team. We got to be a part of the 2007 team and the 2016 team. That's what we grew up with. But beyond that, through those years, you've had crappy managers, you've had crappy players, you've had years where we don't even have a positive record. And then once Tito came, it was like, okay, you make a wild card basically almost every year. Literally almost every year, he made a wild card. And the Guardians just became okay with that. I don't know, man. I'll never understand teams that have that thought process of just kind of buying into, hey, this is what I have. This is all that I can manage, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, no.
And what's nice too is that we talked earlier about the potential of new ownership coming into the Guardians in the next couple of years. For those who don't know, in 2022, about 25 to 30% of the minority stake of the Guardians was sold to David Blitzer, with an option for him to eventually gain control of the team. And it stated that the contract gave the timeline for him to transition to being the majority owner within 6 years. So now being in 2025, that's another, and you're getting close to halfway through the baseball season, 2.5 years away from a potential new owner for the Cleveland Guardians. So at this point, the Dolans may be no longer. And at this point, are they just gonna ride the wave with the Dolans and Antonetti and all this and that until the ownership switches, and then they're just going to clean house with new owner? David Blitzer is going to come in, clean house, and get new GMs and new this and that to maybe see if there is a way to spark baseball back into Cleveland like they did in the 90s. Because if there's a way to do that, hey, sign me up. Because by that time, who knows? Maybe all three Cleveland teams will actually be really good at the same time. And I'm talking all three teams make the playoffs. All three teams have success. And by that time, which we're talking about in a little bit, is that new stadium is going to be built, or just getting close to being done, being finished in Brook Park. So, but yeah, I think the only way the Guardians have success is that they have to move on from Antonetti. They have to do something. Because eventually you're going to lose Quan, most likely. It seems more and more inevitable that you're going to lose him. And again, the way the players speak and stuff like that, it almost seems like it has nothing to do with Stephen Vogt.
Yeah.
It's almost like every time the team talks, it's targeted towards the front office. Even Vogt, it seems like some of the stuff Vogt says, it's almost like targeted at the front office. Like, hey, help, something, please. Like, and the thing is like, this team is legit like one or two players away from going back to last year and making a run.
Yeah.
Like, trade Clase or something. Get a hitter and another starting pitcher. If that happens, oh my God, this team is a totally different ball club again.
Yep.
And you're starting to win ball games again. But you have to take, and this is my final point. The reason why the Guardians have a hard time being successful is because Dolans and Antonetti are so afraid of taking risks. They're so afraid of taking gambles.
Yeah.
And
I can't stand it.
They will never, like, the teams that do take gambles are the ones who end up finding. Look at Detroit. Detroit took some gambles and signed a couple players, and it's working out. It's panning out for them. So sometimes you have to take those chances, those gambles, and whatnot. I mean, look at the Cavs. The Cavs they're taking a gamble on getting ready to sell Garland and Allen for Kevin Durant.
Well, they weren't the ones that
Yeah.
told them. It was more the Suns asked about them, and
Yeah.
they were like, "Let's see what you're going to offer first before we agree to this."
Right.
So they dangled it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Allen was part of that. I think for now
Just Garland.
it was just Garland. But
Okay.
still, the point is,
he was getting there's a gamble involved because it's like, hey, Garland's a good point guard.
right? Like, there's nothing wrong with throwing out some names and saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
hypothetically, what is this going to take? What is this going to get us?"
Yeah.
You know, like, just kind of put some feelers out there. But like, it doesn't even sound like they're putting out feelers. And if they are, they're putting out feelers for guys that just don't really, like, they're not going to get you value. You're just trying to get them off the team. It's like the Lane Thomases.
Yeah.
Like, those guys, like, yeah, he's doing better as of late, but he's still batting 173. Like, he's not doing much better. And it's holding guys back. Santana. I love Santana. He's a phenomenal
40 years
player.
old.
But he's getting up there in age. And as much as we love him and as good of a Gold Glover as he is, first off, you should put him on a team that could potentially win him a championship. That's my take. But two, you saw how bad Manzardo played in the field today because he's been primarily a DH all year long. So, of course, he's going to be rusty as shit trying to play in the field. That happens because he's not playing in the field. It's frustrating.
I can't help it because I keep laughing at what happened today with Manzardo throwing the ball open. Bo Naylor just walked past the ball as the ball zips by his head.
Yeah.
That is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's just like a me, like Bo Naylor's just like zoned out, just walking. The ball zip past his head. Dude, as much as it was frustrating, it was hilarious watching it. Like, I was laughing in the stadium. I was like, that's kind of fucking funny.
Yeah, it was because it's like, hey, we've all been there. We've all made plays like that. Like, if you've played baseball like long enough, you're gonna make a dumb throw like that.
Well, it's not even that. It's just Bo Naylor completely unaware of what was just going on because he was just aimlessly walking around.
Yeah. This team is dopeless, man. Like, they have no dope whatsoever. And what I mean by that is they just have they don't have a spark or anything. Like last year, like at this time, you were finding a spark because you were getting guys like, Manzo up here. You were getting Schneemann involved. Like, guys were coming up and actually facilitating. And yet the Guardians don't want to do that. / they can't because they have a logjam in the weirdest positions: first base, DH,
right field,
and right field. Like the ones that really don't matter are where you're having a logjam. Meanwhile, you need infielder help. You need more outfielding help.
Thank God Juan Brito's back.
and you need some damn hitting too, dude. 2 hits today. Are we kidding me? Even last night when we won, I think we only had 7 or 8 hits. Like, dude, this team last year was getting like 10 plus hits, like a lot. Not every night, but it felt like it because they would dink and donk their way. They would get singles and doubles, and they would score that way. And then you would get your home runs by a few of the guys. But guys were getting on base. They were driving in runs. It was perfect. Yeah. And that's honestly, I think, why Vogt is struggling a little bit to really find guys because he's like, who the heck am I going to use?
Yeah.
Who am I going to put after Santana in the lineup that I can trust with all my heart? Is it gonna be Anya? Is it gonna be Nolan? Is it gonna be Bo? Is it gonna be Gabrielle? No. The answer is just no. None of them can do it. None of them. So it's like, okay, what do? Do you mix the, the lineup around? Do you try to put Quan somewhere else instead of leadoff? It's like, no, you can't. You can't really afford that.
Here's the thing: the only two people that I could trust after the top maybe 4 or 5 hitters is Schneemann and Martinez.
That's it.
And even then, you're putting Schneemann probably at 5 essentially, because it's like, okay, who is it? Quan, Jose, then it's Manzo or Jose switch, Santana, then it's probably Schneemann at 5, and then 6 is Lane Thomas, because that's probably who they put, and then 7 would be Arias, 8 is either Bo or Nolan or Martinez, and then 9 and then 9, like today 9 was Martinez.
Yeah.
But it's like out of all those guys, I would rather just have Martinez and Schneemann. Then you just need to fill out the last 3 spots with people who are good.
Right. Which, I mean, Bo was going to be there. Bo was a streaky hitter. But dude, like Gabrielle, like he had a nice hit last night, but even you said, he's like, dude, he swings at the dumbest stuff.
He swings at everything. Dude,
he swings at everything. It's like playing MLB The Show.
If you're a sports bettor and you have Bet365, you can bet, you can bet on this on any app. I went on FanDuel the other day. This was 2 games ago. Every time Gabriel Arias was up to the plate, I would just live bet him striking out. Every time he walked up to the plate, I would live bet him striking out.
Yeah.
It's the easiest money you've ever made. It's always like minus like 120 or something, whatever. Dude, like one $5 bet turns into like $9.50 like every fucking time.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool. I bet he had 3 at bats. I bet $20 total because I bet like 5 each time. I made like $40, $50 back. I just started $15 into like $40 just live betting Arias to strike out every at bat.
Yeah, for real.
It's like easiest money I've ever made. So
it is.
If you go
easiest money.
If you go to the game, live bet Arias striking out and Hedges together. Oh
yeah,
dude, it's the easiest money maker in the world.
And you can even throw in Manzo, because I mean Manzo will strike out at least once or twice.
At least today, I don't think he struck out one. Oh no, he struck out one time today. But other than that, like he put the ball in play today. Mm-hmm. The one person I will say before we jump ship to a different conversation, the one thing I will say today is that a couple of the guys were just so unlucky, because we only had 2 hits, but I would say Jones twice was unlucky because he had 2 gappers that were just barely caught, both by Miles Straw.
That's been really his story, though.
That's been his MO all season, which I feel bad for him because he can't catch a fucking break.
No, he can't.
But I think one happened to Martinez too, where he hit a gap and it was getting ready to hit the wall, and it was just a beautiful catch again by Miles Straw, another Gold Glover, obviously. I think Manzo had one that was caught out in left field that was gonna drop for a base hit, but was caught. But there's a couple people who had like really good cut. Schneemann like 3 times today. Like 2 of them were like diving catches, and one was a gapper that was just outstretched, caught by like the right fielder or whatever. I'm like, okay, Schneemann would have been 3 for 3 today. Yeah. like I felt bad for him because but that's Schneemann's bad day though, because like his good days he's like 2 for 3 or 2 for 4 or something on his good days. But that's the thing. He's like guys like Schneemann, guys like Manzo, their bad days are like, yeah, we're hitting these gap shots that are just getting caught, but at least the next day we'll go 2 for 4 or something.
Right.
Meanwhile, it's like Nolan Jones, which I still feel bad for this dude because this is just every day for him. And he's like, can I just get one to drop for a goddamn hit? Like one time, like these beautiful gap shots. And it's like, oh, it's a triple backflip by the center fielder with the catch. It's like, what the hell?
Right.
And he's like, I'm sure he went to the dugout one day, just broke his bat. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I mean it's dude, listen, and I'm sure it's got to be frustrating, and
But it's just inconsistent from him.
it is, and I'm sure guys in the clubhouse are not feeling too well right now. Like I'm sure these guys are mad, but dude, this is the mental part of baseball that you got to find a way to get through.
Yep.
Because if you can't, you're not going to make it through this league. You're just not. You can't. You cannot survive in this league if you can't get over the mental hurdles that you have to go through for a long season, man. And I'm usually not one to really hit the panic button, but it's getting there, man. And my patience has grown incredibly thin with this team. And again, my sort of care for them and sort of the results of these games are just dwindling by the day because of how bad it is. There's almost no point at all in me getting mad because it's just inevitable that this team is going to just continue to be mediocre. So, yeah, man, I don't really have too much more to say on the Guardians at this point. They're just a frustrating anomaly at the moment. So we might as well get to something that is actually a little bit more positive. Finally, some positive news related to the Brownies. We have discussed a little bit about Brook Park and, things starting to really escalate. They have. This is now becoming pretty much official. The state has finally agreed on a structure financially to make sure that the Browns have all of the funding that they need. They know how they're going to get the funds, which I do want to talk a little bit about that too here in a minute. But basically, they have the plans ready to go. The state has approved it, and it's not really up to the city of Cleveland anymore. It's like the state has approved this, and the funnier part is they also changed the Modell law as well. So I don't know what the exact law was prior to this, but now the Modell law states that the team cannot leave out of the state without having to pay and whatnot. So it's interesting how much this is escalated, but things are finally starting to look good, dude, and we finally have a chance to have a dome for this team. I'm mega excited about this dome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited too because it's something new. It's a change. And it could be one for the better. I will say it does kind of feel, sentimental in a way because obviously this team has been on the lakefront its entire existence. And I know like a lot of people like our parents' age and whatnot, remember going to Municipal Stadium all the time to go watch the Browns play and all the good memories that they had that we didn't get to witness because we weren't born yet.
Right.
But sometimes things do have to change to allow things to get better. Who knows? Maybe it is cursed on the lake at this point. And maybe a change of scenery could help things. For those who, like myself, live in a city, if you're worried about accessibility, you could definitely take the train that runs from Tower City to Brook Park. There's obviously going to be a station there. And it's probably a lot cheaper than going to drive and park down there.
Yeah.
But this should be one that excites newer Browns fans. Not like new as our age new, but like more like Gen Z or new and whatnot. Like kids who were born like in the mid 2000s new. Like this should be exciting for them because they get to see a new brand new state of the art stadium. They don't have to bear the cold, which for people I know like us, we don't really care about the cold. Like it never
But
really
still going to
going to the
games when
games
it's cold? No.
is a pain in the ass. Yeah,
No.
but
I'm good.
I will say it is pretty nice to see some kind of change. I'm more worried about the area that it's in just a little bit, obviously, because it's not an amazing area. Obviously, it's right next to the airport, which is there for convenience, and it's going to be right next to the Browns facility, which is super convenient for them because it's going to be right next to Berea.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes right for this. The only thing that's again is just it's going to continue to get challenged because as of like 2 hours ago, the Kucinich, the former mayor of Cleveland, he was the one who wrote the Modell Law.
Yeah.
And so he's going to challenge it, saying that like there's a reason why he wrote it and whatnot, and this and that. He's going to try and challenge it. And there's a couple other lawmakers who are going to challenge it just for the fact that, $600 million in unclaimed funds or whatever could be used for like the state's education and other stuff, which I mean is a very valid point. But it seems like it sounds like it's a completely done deal. Unless something completely changes out of nowhere. But as of right now, we're going to see it as a done deal. And I think people should embrace and be excited for it.
Yeah.
If not, like, I mean, it's okay to not be excited, but it's sometimes it's nice to have a change. And maybe we can actually do something with the stuff at the lakefront this time.
Yeah, and I know that the city of Cleveland continues to be like, our plans for the lakefront have always been, revolved around Brown Stadium. Well, you've been saying that for over a decade, and there hasn't been anything done.
Yeah.
The city of Cleveland puffs their chest out and just says a lot of hoopla. They even made a comment about the the funds that they are going to use for this. They were basically saying that they were going to take out of funding for schools and all that. The budget didn't change for like school districts at all between this year and last year. None of that changed. So that's incorrect. And also the lawsuit is still going on. I don't know if it'll be dropped quicker now because of the Modell Law, because they're not going to have a lot of grounds to really stand on. But what's going to end up happening is the Browns are still going to have to pay something out. And then they're going to be like, listen, this is your stadium. This is your responsibility. Brook Park is going to be my stadium. It's going to be my responsibility. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that our stadium also brings in success still to the city of Cleveland and to the county of Cuyahoga. And I know that Brook Park is just outside of that county, but dude, it's fucking 15-20 minutes away from downtown. People are still going to stay in downtown Cleveland and come in. There's that's not going to change. The only thing that's going to change is people can't go from bar to bar and then go to the stadium and get even more drunk. Now they got to actually take a train or actually tailgate at the place. I'm excited for the other events that they are going to be able to obtain. Like you are going to have World Cup matches. You could have the Olympics here, for Christ's sake. There are so many possibilities.
I'm not going to lie. I would not come here for a World Cup. I would not come to Cleveland.
I mean, I wouldn't either, but I mean, still,
I mean, it'd be nice to have
dope.
it. Yeah,
it'd be super dope. So
I think you would have a better chance of it.
Possibilities are there, yeah.
And that's what I mean. You have a better chance for all these things. Like instead of the Big Ten championship for football going to Indianapolis, you could have it in Cleveland. How dope would it be for me, Zach, to be right down the street from Ohio State versus whoever the Big Ten championship? That'd be dope, right? I think that'd be sick. So I agree. And just to give you an exact distance from here to Brook Park, where the stadium's going to be, is exactly 15 minutes.
Right.
So, and like I said, you could take the train. I'm sure they'll have shuttles at different places potentially that you could take. But again, I'll stand on business, Zach. There's no damn IKEA. I'm not going.
That's very true.
I'm standing on business.
That's very, very true.
If we're not partying in the brand new Muni lot, which is the IKEA parking lot,
Yeah.
I'm
Swedish
not going.
Meatballs and Browns football.
Swedish meatballs, Browns football, beer. Oh, dude. And then there's a place to sleep when everyone's drunk and can't go home.
Exactly.
Everyone, it's a big brain move. You go stay at the IKEA.
Yeah, that is big, big brain. But yeah, everything that's going on right now, though, it is absolutely clearing the path for Brook Park, and it is going to happen. I do know, and I understand that there's a lot of people that are nostalgically sad about it, and I am too. But you did make this comment, and I fully believe in this. I truly believe that the current stadium is cursed. And I think the only way we are going to break that damn curse is getting out of it. I truly, truly, truly believe that. And there's only one way to find out. But it's either you get a new stadium like everybody else is doing. I mean, everybody across the league's doing it. Baltimore's doing it. Detroit's doing it. Buffalo. Or not Detroit. But
Buffalo's getting a new stadium.
And there's a bunch more. I think Chicago's doing one, or at least redoing their stadium. So there's a lot going on. Everybody across the board is either upgrading their stadium or getting a whole new stadium built.
Yeah, Chicago's building a brand new stadium. Yeah. I think it's like a half a mile or mile away from the current stadium. Buffalo's building a brand new one, which Buffalo's wild because they're just building another outdoor stadium. I'm like, you guys are crazy over there.
Well, it's like their
tradition.
Yeah, it's their home field advantage, man.
Yeah. But yeah, Chicago's getting a brand new stadium. I think isn't there rumblings of like Jacksonville getting a new stadium too soon?
Maybe.
I think
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it was Jackson because some people are saying that Jacksonville stadium's kind of falling apart a little bit, and there's a chance that they might upgrade to something newer in the next couple of years too. Right. But like you said, everyone's getting newer stadiums. Everyone's upgrading. Yeah, so why not us? Because again, me and you've talked about this over the last ever since this basically started. You know, there's not much you could do to renovate the current stadium. There's not much at all. What are you gonna do? Change the seats? Yeah. What are you gonna do? Change up the scoreboard a little bit? Maybe change some of the maybe you already did that like a few years ago. Like, and what are you going to do? Change up maybe some of the food options that are in there? There's not much you could really change. Like, don't get me wrong. Brown Stadium is a decent stadium. It's not a bad stadium. But there's not much more that you could do to upgrade it at this point. The only thing you could really do, and this is the thing that you just got pissed off about, upgrade around it. Build some stuff at the empty parking lots inside, like on the lakefront. You could have built multiple buildings like a casino, multiple hotels, a parking garage, apartments.
Yeah.
You could have done all that stuff.
There's a lot to do with it.
And you know what? Now that you're tearing down the stadium, now you could do that and more. You could add so much more because now there's going to be even more space. But if you're going to renovate the stadium, what you should have done years ago is renovate around it first. And then be like, hey, listen, we like the area. Maybe we'll keep open Burke Airport as an option. We'll make sure that it's stable, whatnot, enough to build on top of it. And then eventually, if you you came to this point, you could be like, okay, we're going to build on top of the air. We're going to build a dome on the airport where the airport was. And then boom, there's a brand new stadium. It's still in the lakefront. It's still in downtown, essentially. You're at Burke Airport now. You got your dome. And you already have a fully developed lakefront already that you can just add more once you demolish the stadium. That's all you could have done. Like, you should have built around it before and then been like, okay, well, we're going to demolish it and then build on the lakefront again. But you wasted your time. You had all the time in the world and you didn't do shit with it. And you, like we said, you've already done so much to the current stadium. Now there's not much more you can renovate.
Right.
What, like, okay, cool. You're gonna add more room, or what is it? More length to the awning at the top, or yay! You're gonna upgrade the outside a little bit. Yay! You're gonna make the team store 20 feet bigger. Yay! Like, what's there to do? There's nothing. And now you're gonna bring in a soccer team and this and that. Why not put this? You could maybe build a stadium there.
Pretty much, if you're gonna make us suffer through a bad football team, at least give us a good stadium to sit in.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying. In the nice warm weather, nice warmth of a dome. I don't have to freeze my ass off to watch us lose 45-7. I could do it indoors in
Exactly.
comfort.
exactly. So
Here's a question for you. Do you think this makes it cheaper to go to games, or do you think it's the same? Do you think it might be a little bit more expensive? Like, if taking the fact like there's obviously like parking and ticket prices now with a dome stadium.
I think at first it'll be a little more expensive, just because, and again, it's a new place. Obviously, I get it. Hopefully, they make the parking affordable, where they don't charge you like $100 or something stupid. But if they can charge like $30-$40 for parking, I think that's reasonable. I don't think it's too crazy, and you're still able to be within walking distance. I think that's more than acceptable. And they can probably still make a solid profit on it because it's consistent, and I think that's how they can make it. But going into the games, the food and stuff, it's going to be a little expensive. But again, you're going to be in a nice stadium. I'm not going to complain one bit, and it'll be fun to go to games at that time. But as of right now, like, I don't even know if I'm really planning on going to a game at least this year. We'll see. If they end up being super cheap or something, maybe. But it's tough to want to go downtown, at least from where I'm at. I mean, it's easy for you because you live right there. But when you got to drive 45 minutes in and you got to worry about the stupid traffic and stuff, like, Cleveland is not always the most fun place to be in and out of, because you can't get in and out of there. You really can't. It's too damn congested. So we'll see how they try to do that at Brook Park, because as of right now, I know it's still not that great over there. So let's see what they also have planned as well, with the way they're going to make the roads and stuff. Let's see if they make any adjustments. And if they can, that'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was what are the prices going to look like?
Right.
And I think during the whole process, that was more of my concern was, is parking going to be cheap? Is it going to be $100? Because for me, if you're going to make everything expensive, then what the hell is the point? Like, it's not going to be enjoyable to drop $100 on parking and also $150 on a ticket, with concession being $20 or more. I just spent $300 just right then and there, just for one day and one game. Like, I'm sorry, but that's too crazy. I kind of hope to see them go down the Atlanta route, where they made the food prices like beers like $4,
All right,
a hot dog's $2, a pop is $2 or whatever. Like, where they go down to like the cheap concession route, because the thing is, more people would buy more concessions if they were cheaper like that. I don't get why stadiums don't understand that. I'm not gonna go to a football game and spend $10 on a freaking hot dog.
all right.
Like, that's ridiculous. At that point, I'll make my own hot dogs and smuggle it in a Ziploc bag or something and bring it in myself. So that was my concern with the Brook Park situation, was what do the prices look like?
Right.
Because if I'm getting price gouged out the ass, it's going to be hard for me to go to games. So I hope the Haslam's are smart with this. I hope they go down, like I said, the route of Atlanta, where I think Atlanta has like cheap parking. I think their parking's like $40 or something. And then their concessions are insanely cheap. It's like no more than $5 for like anything. Because like your beer is $5 and that's about it.
Right.
but everything else is like under $5. And I think their ticket prices are usually pretty cheap too, no matter how good they are. I think they usually do like the most expensive ticket, or the most expensive cheap ticket or whatever is like $60 or something.
Right.
So
Yeah, we'll see how that gets divvied up, to be honest. Who knows?
yeah, that's my big worry though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think pricing at first is going to be a little rough. Like
I think the first couple of years, yeah, it would be rough, just because they have to make that money back for putting into the stadium. Obviously,
Yeah.
you have to make that money back. But I think afterwards, I think it would settle down, and maybe they'll work.
Especially if they continue to suck. I mean, they're not going to be able to really sell a lot of them anyway, because nobody's going to want to go.
Well, there's times where, like, last night I looked at tickets just for fun for like random games, and I saw, like, I can't remember which game it was, but it was one against the worst teams that we play against, and the tickets were like starting now at like $15. I'm like, see, I would go to that game because it's $15, and I would spend $15 to go to the game.
Right.
It's worth it.
Exactly. So, yeah, man, we'll see how it goes. But that's the news for Brook Park. I don't think we have anything going on with the Cavs. I mean, obviously the draft is starting, but it hasn't really. I don't think we've gotten to the pick yet, so
No, I don't
nothing
think we have
really
picked.
to report. So we will probably discuss it a little bit next week. See if the Cavs got anybody that was cool or anything. The only real news that we had was just the Garland stuff, but again, that wasn't really anything to really get too caught up in, because again, when you're involving a name like KD, guys are going to get thrown around, and it wasn't the Cavs that offered him. It was they asked about him, and they didn't necessarily say no, but they said, let's see what else you're going to offer, because we don't just want KD, we want assets.
Yeah.
And so that's where that went. So beyond that, we really don't have anything else. I'm good. I don't really have anything else to talk about today.
Before we forget, before we forget, guys, check out our sponsors, Effortless Wins, for sports betting advice and plays to boost your wins. Talk to Tony or Greg. Link will be in the description of the Spotify and the first pinned comment on YouTube. Be sure you guys go check them out. Talk to them. They're really good. I played a couple of the bets earlier today, won a few of them. So, hey, it works, man. So go and check it out. Talk to them. They're two great guys, very kind, very lovely people. Go and talk to them. Check them out. If you're serious about sports betting, these are the guys you want to talk to. So,
absolutely,
shout out to Effortless Wins, baby.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, we will see y'all next week, and hopefully we don't have to rant about any more bad Guardians play. But I think I'm being a little too nice about that. We'll see y'all next time.